First to Deven Ghelani, who's director of the Policy and Practice think tank, one of the architects of the government's universal credit policy. I have a note you were at the event yesterday. Is that right? How did the chief executive's comments go down? What sort of conversation did it stimulate? Morning to you.
Morning. Really good to be on. I think the first thing is it was brilliant to have a major employer at one of these events to talk about the pressures that they as Tesco are feeling, both as... I think the great thing about being Tesco is they're feeling the squeeze as an employer, and they're also seeing the squeeze on people's pockets as consumers, and just reminding everyone how thin margins are in the supermarket game. And, I think he's right to be worried, but in public policy, these problems have been well known. I've been on your show to talk about them for some time. I think one thing to pull out is on the social security side, the problem we understand is disability benefits. So if you're trying to find workless households, it's really hard to find any unless you're looking at households that are on disability benefits, often with very good reason. But we're talking about the health drivers of these challenges have been sort of building for many years and then accelerated and brought forward because of the pandemic. I think the other group to really worry about are young people. There was some ridiculous stat that I can't quite remember, but basically young people are starting work much later than they were when probably you and I first got our first jobs when I was 16. The message I think to anyone who's leaving school around that age is, if there's an opportunity, take it. Don't worry too much don't be too picky at a young age. I think it's really important just to get into the labour market. And I think as well, we did hear a lot about job creation. So what is stopping? It's really, I would have loved to have asked Ashvin, what are the things that are holding back Tesco creating more jobs or employers creating more jobs? Is it the pressures from the government? Is it the squeeze on consumer spending that you're seeing? Is it things like the pressure to spend more on technology and AI, which means there are kind of fewer of those entry-level jobs coming in? I think it's a combination of all three, but I'd probably say lifting some pressure on employers would be a really good idea right now, because without the jobs, we're in real trouble.
Deven, let me ask you this. Upon hearing the warning, as you rightly say, from a considerable employer such as Tesco, what should a government do?
Yeah, like I think that last comment is it, taking some pressure off employers who want to create.
But they've gone completely the other way, haven't they?
Well, I think that has been probably, the government's made a few missteps in its early years, and I think that is one of the biggest that's going to stick with people for some time. Because while you're trying to bring the benefits bill down, you can reform social security, you can do an awful lot to try and tackle that problem. But if you're reducing the number of jobs there are to go into at the same time, and in particular, entry-level roles are the ones that are probably being squeezed the most, we're going to feel that, and it's going to become, it almost makes the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions job a lot harder, because you're trying to get people off social security, but the jobs aren't there. So I think if the government was to wave a magic wand, it would probably be things like the national insurance increase, some sort of reversal, some other mechanism to just boost jobs. We just need the economy to grow faster if we're going to tackle this problem.
Enjoyed our time together. Deven Ghelani, thank you. You're director of the Policy and Practice think tank, and you were at that event yesterday.